father's father had two brothers and a sister. His older sister Hazel had married a man named Jim Yunker, and he was involved in the bottling business early on, as early as 1906 in Indianapolis, and he sold flavors. He would have had grape, cream soda, blood orange, ginger ale. In 1915, he got the franchise for Coca-Cola in Indianapolis. So then we fast forward 20 years later to 1935. Jim Yunker approached my grandfather and his two brothers and said the franchises in Kokomo, Logansport, and Peru are available for sale, and you guys want this. Trust me, you want to get in the Coca-Cola business.
Halfway through the season, the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series heads to another big oval, this time a 2-mile track in Michigan. It's the site of the second Triptacular Memories Triple Crown. Double points, double length, and triple the excitement. Speeds over 220 miles an hour off into the corners, decisions made in instants. Tonight, drivers will have to work with their teammates and against the field in a 150-lap dogfight to claim victory in the 6th round of the season. Make a mistake tonight, miss out on the double points, and you'll find yourself desperately scraping back what you could have had in the coming weeks. Welcome to SimTV and the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. It's time for IndyCar action in Michigan. Welcome, my name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney and DeCuna tonight for the 6th round of the season, effectively the halfway point of the 2020 Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. Finney, I'm very excited for tonight. High-speed action. The last time we were here at Michigan with the Indy Elite Series, they put on a heck of a show.
Yeah, they really did, and expecting more or less the same tonight. Here we got 33 guys lined up to take the green flag in just about 6 minutes' time. Currently, as you take a look at the point standings coming into tonight, it's Henry Bennett with a solid lead over Philip Krause and Jason Brophy. Really, your top three are kind of going at it. You'll also see Adam Blocker 35 points back after missing a round, so he's got a little bit of work to do. But again, still far from the end of the season as far as points, but this is definitely going to be a big one. As you said, double points event for tonight. There's only 3 times during the season that happens: at Homestead at the beginning of the season, here at Michigan, and then at the finale at Indianapolis. So definitely is a really good chance to gain a lot of points. We saw Brophy win at Homestead, gain a lot of points, as well as last week at Milwaukee with fuel mileage. We'll see if he can get win number 3 tonight.
So qualifying underway right now, and most everybody's already put down their lap times here, Finian, so it's going to be pretty quiet out there for a couple minutes. But Henry Bennett is at the top of the board and the top of the standings as well. Philip Kraus comes in second. Jason Brophy, what a season this has been for him. It is number 44. Came out like a rocket ship at Homestead from out of nowhere to win that race. And then, of course, last week at Milwaukee, snuck out a fuel mileage victory. So that 44 driver having a really good start to the season. And taking a look down the order where he qualified for tonight. Looks like, or sorry, not the 44, the 88 car. 9th place for Jason Brophy. So inside the top 10 for the start of this event. And conditions this afternoon here in Michigan. Pretty nice day out there. 75 degrees in the air, 99 on the racetrack. And this is pretty similar to how it was last season. And what a race we saw last time out. You know what it was a lot of, Finian? It was a lot of teammates working together. And that's something I didn't expect to see the last time. And I'm wondering if it's going to change at all this time around, or if it'll be more of the same.
Yeah, I'll definitely see once these guys get green. It's a long race for tonight, being a Triple Crown race. 150 laps on the board.
So your qualifying order scrolling across the top of the screen, and fastest lap, of course, Henry Bennett's 31.885, and he comes into the night again leading the point settings. But last week at Milwaukee, it was Brophy, Kraus, and Adam Blocker on the podium, and of course Philip Kraus in that Spark VR car. Started off a great season for the new driver to the team, and we're waiting for him to get a race victory, but he only qualified 26th tonight. That's not where he needs to be tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a long way up the order for the 19. We'll see what they have. I have noticed, looking at his teammates Frank Levick and Dan Lee Ensher also back there, as well as Ray Kingsbury. So I think the Spark VR guys are playing it safe in the back of the pack. We'll see how that plays out for them as we get this race underway.
Of course, tonight is the second of 3 rounds of the Triptacular Memories Triple Crown. It's brought to you by Triptacular Memories. Schedule your Disney vacation with Triptacular Memories today. So our second Triple Crown race of the season, Finian, double points. How much more aggressive does that make you? How much more cautious does that make you, especially at the beginning of the race?
Yeah, I think it's kind of almost 2 phases for it. I think the first 100 laps is definitely where we're going to be a little bit cautious, especially if you're around the midfield part of the pack. Because again, long race tonight. A lot of opportunity to get yourself towards the front. And you're only paying out points once you cross the checkered flag. So I really think for the first 100 laps, a lot of these guys will see it too. They'll be a little bit more on the cautious side of things. Just keeping the car okay, keep yourself in a decent position, but don't be too aggressive, because there's going to be a lot of jockeying back and forth, and you have a lot of time to do that later. I think the last 50 laps is when we're really going to see if this turn into a sprint, and guys are going to be starting to make moves towards the front.
So last race, the topic of discussion was restarts. There was a lot of issues on the restarts, a lot of stacking up. How much of that do you think has been addressed with the drivers, and do you think that'll be an issue tonight?
I don't think it'll be an issue tonight. I think, typically at the short ovals, it tends to be a lot harder because, guys are coming out of the corners, and a lot of times they can't see the field up ahead. Here you have a much bigger line of sight down through the order coming out of turn 4, with it being a much wider turn. So I think there'll be a little bit less stacking up here, especially considering these guys are going to be flooring it all the way around. It's not going to be too much of a concern if you don't get that good of a restart. So
there's Ray Kingsbury in the 25 Spark VR car. He has yet to lay down a lap time, and he's still got 2 minutes to put it down. But with all the teammates towards the back, do you think that he's going to go out and qualify, or do you think he's going to start at the rear and be with his teammates and work up through the order with him?
They're going to do what they did last season, which is work together in a group. I would be a little bit surprised if he did go out and qualify. If these guys are going to use all of their laps, they need to pad out in about 10 seconds if they want to have enough time. Actually, make that pretty much now. He'll leave the pit road.
So let's cover the team championship standings as we come into the night. 2 wins for Power Slide Motorsports puts them at the top of the standings in the team points. 229 points to Last Lap Motorsports, 157.5. Ludicrous Speed, third of the standings with 143.5. Team Talent, 127.5. Then Sadie Sim Autosport, 99.5. Broken Arrow, 80.5. And Iconic Motorsports, 39.5. So that's your point standings coming into the night for the teams. Rookie standings, Philip Kraus, 189 points over Jason Brophy. That battle between those 2 drivers is really good. Kraus has been more consistent, but Brophy's got 2 wins to Kraus's 0. So we're going to watch those rookies battle it out again tonight. Adam Crane, a little ways back, but he's also had a pretty solid start to the season.
Yeah, I do think, though, that definitely, I think the rookies obviously being second and third in the point standings. I mean, you really can't do a whole lot better than that other than really lead the point standings, but still, amazing start for 2 guys new to this series. I really think the rookie battle, at the very least, is going to come down between those 2 drivers, so we'll definitely keep an eye on it over the course of the season. Because yeah, I think Kraus has definitely got the better raw pace, but Rofi's been nailing with the strategy calls and is getting himself in good positions, and that's what got him those 2 wins. Kraus, meanwhile, still chasing his first for the season.
So also, if we take a look at the qualifying times, there are 15 drivers within a tenth of a second. That tells me this is an open setup series, Finney, and that tells me that everyone's really close, at least on qualifying pace.
Yeah, and folks at home, you can't see our time screen, and we can see the gaps in between each position, and it's 2,000ths of a second, 5,000ths of a second, 4,000ths of a second between several drivers. So any little gain in time, if you took the corner, if you entered it maybe just a little bit earlier, a little bit later on exit, you could have gained another spot. It's really close between these guys as qualifying is now complete.
So it'll be Henry Bennett and Adam Crane on the front row tonight. We'll remind you that SimTV has a brand new merchandise store. You can find it at www.simtvbroadcasting.com/store. T-shirts, polos, quarter zips, decals, and all sorts of other things on there to check that out. Link is in the video description. As we get ready to go racing, we're gritting up for the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series, brought to you by Triptacular Memories, the second of 3 races in the Triple Crown. We'll head down to the racetrack. We'll roll through our starting lineup here in just a moment as we get ready to go racing for 150 laps. Here's your race rundown. 300 miles this evening, Finian, and I bet you for those first 250, it'll be relatively exciting, but those last 50, it's going to be really gets good. So back down to the racetrack. Your starting lineup for this evening on the front row. Henry Bennett, the 007, he starts on first position. Adam Crane in second in the number 6.
Yep, and then moving on back to our second row of drivers, we got Andreas Eichen, the 76, good qualifying effort from him. Next to him, Christopher Demerit in the 144 will be starting in 4th.
In row number 3, starting in 5th spot on the inside, AJ Burton in the number 50. On the outside, Andrew Wood in the number 32. He was close to victory last week in Milwaukee as well, so he's due for one.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see if we can do it tonight. Back behind them, 7th place, John Poole in the 27, looking to get a win, as well as Brendan Lichtenberg in the 10 car, looking for his second win of the season in 8th.
Jason Brophy has won 2 of the first 5 races. The rookie sensation starts 9th tonight in his number 88. To go to DiCienzo, some rough luck in recent weeks. He rolls off 10th.
Moving on back another row into 11th place, we got Clark Archer in the 29, and then next to him, Riley Thompson in the 58 is going to be starting in 12th, rounding out row 6.
Row number 7, Caleb Weekly in the number 96 will be on the inside, and Bradley Walters in 14th. The number 56 car rolls off on the outside lane.
Back in 15th, we got Chris Stouffer in the 13 car, and he's going to be lining up next to Tony Shallon in the 31 on the outside lane in 16th.
In 17th place on the inside, John Downing, one of the Sadie Sim Autosport cars, in the number 20. On the outside, Andrew Kinsella in the number 14 rolls off 18th.
And rounding out the first 10 rows is going to be Chad Simpson in the 42 in 19th, and next to him in 20th will be David Adams in the 00 car.
In 21st position, Chris Cahill in the 57. He rolls off alongside the 53 of Joe Flanagan. They share row number 11.
Back in row 12, we got in 23rd, Charles Ante in the 26 on the inside lane. Next to him, Joe Branch in the 28th. It's going to be lining up on the outside in 24th.
In 25th, Gabriel Perez in the number 8. And in 26th, Philip Kraus, the rookie sensation. He's been super consistent, but hasn't gotten a victory yet. He rolls off 26th tonight.
Yeah, also has a long way to go up the order. Then in 27, we got Frank Levick in the 77 car on the inside lane. Next to him in 28th, Dan Lee Ench in the 52.
Last couple rows, 29th, Aaron Ruffs in the number 30, and Marshall Stanley on the outside in 30th place, the number 55.
Back in 31st, Ray Kingsbury in the 25. We've seen he's got a lot of pace. We'll see if he can move up the order, as well as Simon Bryant in the 22, who's next to him in 32nd.
Last row, 33rd position, Logan Simmons in the 75. He'll roll off dead last night. A lot of work for Simmons to do, but only up he can go. 150 laps, 300 miles tonight as we head back up towards the front of the field. And the pole sitter, of course, is the 007 of Henry Bennett. He's leading the points. He's leading the race from the drop of the green flag tonight. The Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series, the Triptacular Memories Triple Crown round number 2. Waiting. Green flag flies, and we're racing at Michigan for the 6th round of the season and the halfway point of the year. Lap 1 complete, and Henry Bennett leads, and Andreas Eich in the number 76 right on his rear wing as they head down to turn number 1. Christopher Demerit in the 144 rocking some new colors this season in 4th place right now on the outside lane. Bit of a bobble as the 76 slides up the racetrack on the exit of the corner.
Yeah, he's looking to the outside. It's Bennett on the inside, kind of by himself. He's got Andrew Wood a little bit further on back, but it looks like the guys are lining up on the outside lane to kind of hang out.
Early in the going, how much are you willing to risk your car for some track position? It's not really worth racing, I would say, this early in the going, but they're racing pretty hard at the front as the 76 goes to the outside lane.
Yeah, trying to mount up a charge as well, and there's Riley Thompson all the way on the outside lane, kind of starting a third lane to the outside, but is kind of just, I think, trying to feel the racetrack.
Down the back straightaway, we got 2 defined lines, one in the middle, one on the bottom of the racetrack. Nobody really tried to go up high except for the 58 of Riley Thompson. You see him up there trying to drag a couple cars with him. That's Dakota DiCienzo in the number 43, who was involved in a collision last week at Milwaukee and looking to have a much better night tonight. Is currently in 10th. There's a Sadie Sim Autosport car jumping up to the outside groove in the background. I believe that was Bradley Walters in the 56.
Yeah, trying to move up the order. You see Chad Simpson as well, but moving back up. It's Ike and Bennett still going at it for the lead. Also see Crane looking a little bit racing behind. He's going to peel to the outside Ike. It's going to be 3 wide.
And Adam Crane again competing for Rookie of the Year. And here comes Andrew Wood to the inside. Wood was so close to getting the race win last week at Milwaukee, but ran out of fuel, and it was eventually the 88 of Jason Brophy that was able to benefit from that and got himself the race victory. I don't think fuel will be an issue tonight, but I do think we're going to have a nasty accident or two at some point in this race with the cars bunched up in pack racing like this.
Yeah, naturally it's going to happen. Usually in the first part, these guys are going to take it a little bit easier. And then usually once you start to get some cautions, we usually get a few more, but so far so good for the first 5 laps of this race.
Here comes Chris Stouffer up the inside, and taking a look down the right on board the front wing here to the inside of Christopher Demerit right behind Andrew Wood. How much is the aero push going to be an issue tonight, and will it be an issue on the opening couple laps?
I think it's definitely going to matter quite a bit. I mean, granted, this version of Michigan, the newer pavement is a lot better than the old one, at least that's what the drivers would say, because it's easier to follow these guys in behind one another. This surface has got more grip for these guys to work with, and it also really depends on how these guys have their cars set up aero-wise, if they can handle back in dirty air, and I imagine that everyone's managed to do that, because if you didn't set up your car for pack racing, you're going to be in the back.
Chad Simpson in the 42 started 19th. He's up to 8th. He is on a mission right now to the outside lane, right behind the 50 of A.J. Burton. Right on board. Look at that, 3 wide. He's on the outside of the 50, down into the corner.
Yeah, guys so close they can wave to one another out. Obviously they're not. They're going to be focused here, trying to get as many spots as possible. I'm curious if Chad's going to try to move by himself up on the outside, 3 wide here. He's got Demerit in front of him.
Yeah, no teammate help just yet. The rest of the Spark VR cars are kind of throughout the rest of the field. We haven't really seen them be able to bunch up quite yet. Frank Levick is in the 77. It's all the way back in 23rd. There's Ray Kingsbury back there as well. And the the 19, trying to locate where he is. And he is up in 19th place, Philip Kraus.
Yeah, so slow move up the order for the 19 car.
At the front of the field, here comes Adam Crane again to the outside lane. He's been really using the momentum on the corner exit to get the nose ahead, but he's not quite able to hang on to it. But as the tires wear, I want to be on the outside lane more than I want to be on the bottom.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I would even want to be in the outside. I think probably the best lane would be where Ike is in the middle. Outside lane is just a little bit too far around. You see Demerit rocked around the outside, 4 wide.
Woo, 4 wide for the lead here in Michigan, lap number 8. You'd think it's lap 148 down into the corner, and it looks like Andreas Ike has nosed ahead slightly, but Bennett's still fighting on the bottom.
Yeah, being 4 wide, Crane's had to back out of that as well as Demerit. So back 2 wide again for the lead. Now here comes Chris Stouffer up the middle. He's going to make it 4 wide again and make a move. He's going to move himself up into 3rd spot.
From 15th to 3rd, and Bennett tight at the bottom of the racetrack has to check up. Simpson has to lift, and here comes Stouffer up to 2nd place.
You can see that inside lane lost a lot of momentum. They started to drift back a little bit, and there you see now Riley Thompson, Chad Simpson, Bennett were 3 wide for his 2nd.
And Stouffer now challenging Ike on the outside. He's got Adam Crane going to again swing to drivers right. And Christopher Demerit just watching from behind, and I don't think he's in any particular rush. Look at, I think that's the 50 of A.J. Burton on the bottom going for 5th.
Yeah, he's got a nice run to the inside. Going to even look to the inside of Demerit. He's going to get to the inside of his left rear. Oh, some contact with Demerit and Crane around.
And upside down, tumbling through the grass. Horrible collision onto the pit wall, and the caution is out.
Ooh.
That was a gnarly accident. And more cars involved. Henry Bennett, the points leader, is in it. Early in the going here at Michigan, you knew it was going to happen. It was only a matter of time. Dakota DiCienzo's also torn up. His bad luck continues.
Yeah, and Henry Bennett, I was going to say, before the race started, but I'll say it now. Every single race, all 5 races we had before tonight, he finished inside the top 5. That streak, however, is going to end as he goes flying upside down.
Yeah, here's a look. So Adam Crane was on the outside of that Stouffer in the 13. And behind him, I believe, I'm trying to see who this was.
It was Demerit that got into him.
So here comes Demerit, the blue and black car on the inside lane. And Demerit just slips up and just doesn't, he loses the nose and taps the 6 car around. And Demerit gets involved in this. And watch this. And watch the impact with the pit wall right here. Oh, man. And Bennett goes sliding on his roll hoop down the pit lane. What a mess. We'll watch it again at full speed. Wow. We're right on board with Christopher Demerit.
I think he was following him behind Stouffer, who was starting to move up as well. And naturally, they just ended up meeting each other.
A couple more cars at the back of that got tagged. I don't remember exactly seeing how Dakota DiCienzo got in this, so here's what happened to him. Oh, he turned down and got into the back of Brennan Lichtenberg, and Joe, I think it was John Poole that got a piece of it as well. But Lichtenberg just kind of got run into there.
Yeah, because he was slowing down for...
man!
Yeah, he was slowing down for Demerit, his teammate.
The speed differential between those cars, absolutely enormous. So a lot of damage to a lot of cars here early in the going. Some pit stops for some, but not for others. Philip Kraus is going to stay out on the racetrack. What do you think about that?
I'm curious if he's going to actually stay out here, if he's going to decide to come back down into the pits. This might just be, for points, just lead a lap, come back down, and be good to go.
So John Poole was got tagged by the 10 of Lichtenberg. I don't see any damage, though. He might have gotten away with that. He got hit towards the left rear, and I would expect the floor to be damaged, but he didn't. Might have been able to scrape on by.
Yeah, car looks fine. If anything, might have maybe a second or so damage. It might be a little minor, so I think he's just going to stay out, not going to bother trying to fix it. That car, however, is definitely going to need some repairs.
Yeah, and he actually didn't stop. He came down pit lane, but didn't actually service the race car, and that will most likely be a retirement or close to it.
I was going to say, I think he might have just circled back around just to pass the cars that retired from that wreck so he could stay ahead of them. But yeah, if that car could still race, I would be absolutely amazed.
So our first caution here, slowing the progress early here at Michigan, of course, involving the 007, the 6, and the 144. Christopher Demerit, he should be able to repair that car. It looks like he has done so.
Yeah, most of his damage is relegated. If anything, if I was him, I'd be worried about the right front of that car, but he didn't get hit from behind or anywhere else after that wreck.
Looks pretty straight to me. Looks like he might have gotten away without a whole lot of issues. Henry Bennett's going to come on down, and this will probably be a very lengthy pit stop at the very least. And again, here's a look at your points. As they came into the night, it was Bennett leading Kraus by 3, and as it stands, will almost certainly be changing tonight. Jason Brophy in the 88 made it through that wreck, but he has scored right now in 14th, so he's got some work to do if he wants to have a chance at winning this race like he did last week.
Yeah, and Kraus did come down to the pits as well as Poole, so that's going to surrender the lead back up to, I believe,
Chris
Stouffer.
No Motorsports car leading the race. Andreas Eich in second, who's having a really good night so far in the number 76. And then AJ Burton, who always seems to show up at these 2-mile tracks and always is competitive. Think back to Fontana last season.
Yeah, I'm just going to cite that he did really well there. When you think about it, not too surprising that he's doing well here. Very similar tracks in layout and distance, and just the way they're set up. So nice to see him up to the front. We'll see if he's able to get a win here.
So coming back to the restart this time, we'll be working lap number 15 of 150.
And Stouffer, Eich, Burton, Simpson, Wood are top 5. Then Thompson, Showen, Archer, Kinsella, and Branch are top 10.
Late night for AJ Burton as well, from the UK. So a lot of racing left to do tonight, and it's very late over there right now. So field working its way out of turn number 4. And the yellow flag is in the hand of the starter, but he's going to exchange it again for the green here momentarily. And Christopher will lead us back to the green flag here. The Triptacular Memories Triple Crown round number 2. Halfway point in the season for the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. Green flag back in the air. We talked about restarts, how important they're going to be. Stouffer got a very good one. Look at Chad Simpson on the inside of A.J. Burton trying to take advantage of the acceleration of that Spark VR42.
Yeah, now we're going to try to also build up a run here as a single file. You can see everyone chasing each other down the straightaway. Ike trying to use the momentum to the outside, as well as Burton 3 wide into turn 3.
3 wide for a moment, and Chad Simpson sitting in behind trying to figure out which line he wants to pick, and Andrew Wood is going to have a whole head of steam here, and now he's going to figure out where he wants to go. How about up the middle? 3 wide, thinks better of it. He'll back out for now.
Yeah, the door closed on him. He almost had a chance of making it 4 wide, but it's going to be just a little bit careful here. Doesn't need to push the issue. Still a lot of time left.
Yeah, still a very dangerous place to be right behind these cars, though. They've got it somewhat sorted as they exit turn number 2.
You can see the field starting to accordion back together. I also see a little bit further back in 12th place, Jason Brophy in the 88, started leading his own kind of group at the moment.
Mark Archer in the number 29. How about 227 through the corners? We're going to break 230 on the straights here in the draft.
Yeah, Archer's not even trying here. He's just trying to maintain the graph. You can see 221, 225, 224 as they head up into turn 1.
Going to back out of it. Onto the back straightaway. A lot of decisions have to get made very quickly. How about to the inside? Here comes the 13 of Stouffer again for the lead of Ike up the middle, and the 50 of A.J. Burton all the way up on the high side.
And he's trying to build up a run here. Now they kind of gone back out double file for just a second. Now Burton's trying to build up that run to Ike on the outside. I don't think he's got enough to take it away. That inside's still just way too good.
3 wide still for the top spot, then 2 wide for 4th behind them. That is the 32 of Andrew Wood. He's going for P3 now, right behind Ike.
Also there a blue car I see approaching in the picture.
I believe that would be... See who that might be. Aaron Ruff's in the number 30, I would think. Yes, it is. He started back in 29th, almost the tail end of the field. Got reports that Henry Bennett has retired the car, as has Adam Crane, Dakota DiCienzo, and Charles Ante. They are all retired and done for the night, unfortunately. So not the night that they wanted to have. 3 wide again for the top spot on the back straight.
They're still going for it. That inside lane is going to be a tough thing to wrestle away from. Stouffer's still going to defend here. Ike's been working a little bit better each lap, so he's almost building enough momentum, but it's not enough.
Joe Branch in the number 28. He was 5th in the points standings coming into the night. Here he is running in 10th. And there's, I think that's Demerit.
No, it's Gabriel Perez in the 8 car that keeps flying on through the picture there.
It is. You're right. Gabriel Perez, the number 8, on the exit of the corner.
You can see the disparity, how much of a run some of these guys have by just keeping the throttle in.
Huge pack through turn 3 and 4, and Christopher continues to hang on to the lead. But again, it's the opening couple laps of this run. I'd expect the bottom to be better, but as the run goes on, the high side is going to get a little bit better. And look at the 8 car up the middle. He is flying with a huge head of steam.
Yeah, he's using the momentum to his advantage here to move him up some spots a little bit tight in 1.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to...
Whoa!
Oh, no
Burton
trouble! Spin on the back straightaway. Perez around caution is out.
Keep it on the wall? Yes, he can.
Wow. Well done. I was just about to say, it seems like his car is set up to be kind of a straight line rocket ship.
Yeah.
And it just struggles in the corners, but he got turned at the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, Burton also got a bit tight, and they ended up finding each other there. We'll take a look back at it.
Exactly how this all happened. Here's another look. It was A.J. Burton in the 50 on the bottom. Come off turn 2. Did the 50 slide up, or did the 8 car come down?
I think it was 50 that slid up here. Yeah, I think he caught the wake of wood.
Just ran out of cornering ability there and turned around the 8. Just a nice spin, and he does a spectacular job locking up the wheels and keeping the car turned to the right, so he just misses that wall. We're right on board here at full speed.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of people won't believe me when I say this, but spinning out like that, it's an art form. And it really takes a lot to make sure you keep it off the wall.
Sometimes you gotta know how to crash.
Yeah.
On board from the 8. And downshifting the whole time.
And you can see how he let off let off the lock of the brakes to keep the car rolling away from the wall. Wow, a little bit of roll there, and then lets it go back straight and off and away.
That's so cool how he was just downshifting the entire time, getting ready to drive out of it. Had that much confidence in the car. So pit stops again. The second time tonight. And what do you think? Are we going to be pitting every single time we come on down, or what's the strategy here?
I think a lot of guys are going to do that just to keep themselves on the up and good, I think, on fuel, and especially a little bit on tires as well. It definitely helps to have fresh tires. Obviously, this track doesn't wear as much as the older version of it does, so you're not going to see these guys struggle really with the wear, but definitely I think they're worried about if we do get a long green flag run, they want to have as fresh tires as possible. Stouffer off and away.
Yep, he was the leader when we came into the pits. We'll see if he can maintain it coming out. And we'll drive by Andreas Ike. We'll have the lead as they leave pit lane. Second caution of the night here for the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. We want to remind you that Triptacular Memories is sponsoring the Indy Elite Series Triple Crown this season. And, of course, plan your Disney vacation today because the sun is starting to kind of make an effort now, Finney, and we're getting close to the end of winter here.
Yeah, it's finally starting to wane away. I hope I don't regret saying that. There's going to be a massive winter storm just at the end of winter.
We're never really out of the clear until like mid-April,
yeah.
And we're still a little ways away from that, so hoping we'll get a little lucky, but...
At least it's getting...
What happened to Puxatawny Phil? What the gopher? The groundhog? What did he say? Gopher groundhog?
I don't know.
Do we have 6 more weeks?
I haven't paid attention to.
There's something going on outside.
Yeah.
Fire truck. So, lap 23 complete, and we had the pace slowed by 2 issues here early. Does this serve to calm your nerves, or does this kind of amp you up because you have these crazy restarts?
I think it calms your nerves just a little bit, and I think especially because for guys it's less competitors. That last wreck didn't really take anyone out of competition, but a lot of times if there is a wreck, usually there's someone that's going to retire at the end of it. These cars are very fragile once you start to get some damage on it. So I think it might calm down some guys' nerves. For other guys, I think it'll have the opposite effect as you're saying. I think it'll amp them up a little bit. We'll have to see here as we're going to come down to the restart. I am curious though if the tight condition, as we saw those guys kind of in behind some of the guys up to the front, if that's going to be a continuing trend for the rest of this race.
A couple more drivers hitting pit lane. Jason Brophy, one of them. Poole as well. But Wood, Demerit, and Perez all stayed out under this most recent caution, and that leaves Stouffer in 4th as the first driver on fresh tires. We'll see if those make any sort of difference here on the restart. Track temperature has been slowly rising throughout the day, and I think that's going to affect these cars. They'll be chasing it with the setup all day long, playing with the weight jacker, maybe some tire pressure as well, to try to even out your tire wear and to get as much grip as you can. Of course, you're pretty much locked into whatever camber, caster, all that sort of situation. Suspension adjustments not so easy to do. Everything else is fair game here. So Andrew Wood was leading the late going at the Milwaukee Mile last week. Wasn't able to get the win. He'll lead on the restart after staying out. Has led so far 2 laps. He'll make it 3 as we come back to the start-finish line. Pace cars off, lap number 25. Still 126 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. And now a little bit of aggression for some of these drivers on the restart, pulling down to the white line.
Everyone trying to defend their spots, not giving up an inch. See Demerit now. I think he's going to try to eye up a run here on Andrew Wood on the back straightaway. Here comes the head full of steam, going to pull to the outside into turn 3. Trying to at least get alongside here. He might have a shot at getting around him here if he can get a good run off the corner. But you also see now Stouffer with a head full of steam.
Side by side for the lead at Michigan. 25 laps down, 125 to go. Here comes Christopher Demerit. And the 13 of Chris Stouffer.
Even Gabriel Perez still up to the front in 4th place there. That other blue and yellow car on the outside.
For the lead, 3 wide, overlapping like fighter jets into turn 3. Andreas Ike tucked in behind. And not a lot of air though on the nose of that 76 right now, so you got to be cautious, especially when cars like Perez swing to your outside like that on corner exit. And Perez going to look 3 wide for the lead here.
He's going to dart all over the track trying to get a lane up. And now going to have a run to the outside of Stouffer now. Who's going to give? Looks like Stouffer's going to yield back to the inside, but Perez goes way wide in turn 1.
A couple groups of cars forming up. The lead pack on the back straightaway led by Andrew Wood and Chris Stouffer pulling even with him into turn 3. Andreas Ike tucked in behind again. Here comes Perez rolling the outside lane. Can he get to the rear quarter of Stouffer? Yes, he does.
And Stouffer moved a little bit more, and there he moves again. And Perez almost getting into him. Trying to dissuade the 8 from making a move, but Perez going to try to get a little bit of a side draft.
Look at the 42 of Chad Simpson out from underneath the rear wing. And Perez, whoa, a bit loose for Stouffer as he pulls down to the bottom of the racetrack on the exit at turn 2.
He comes with another run to the outside. Chad Simpson now going to fall to the inside in 4th. Andreas Ike in 5th in picture.
Woo! Close quarters between Perez and Stouffer again. And Perez is playing with inches there on the front straightaway.
And look at the concern with how he's pinching Stouffer on the straightaway. That could end up ugly here.
42 is the lead Spark VR machine in 4th place, and the next car back is Frank Levick, the 4th, in 12th place. Then after him, Spark VR team. Oh, whoa, for the lead. Here comes Stouffer to the outside. Next Spark VR car is Ray Kingsbury in 20th.
And Stouffer is trying to get a better line in the middle of the corner and now off, but it's again, we're seeing how tough it is to wrestle away that inside position.
Wow. 220 miles an hour at Michigan Speedway. That's what that looks like. Off into turn 1. And Wood a little bit tight, going to slide up the racetrack slightly.
See the entire pack of cars trying to pass him. At some point or another, Perez still trying to make work on that outside lane. He's going to try to just slot himself in between Wood and Stouffer.
Oh! Was there contact there? It almost sounded like there was.
Yeah.
Front wing to rear tire of the 32 and the 8. You guys are getting real confident. Here comes Clark Archer. That's that orange and silver car on the outside lane right in front of the teal number 14 of Andrew Kinsella. And Chad Simpson has fallen to 8th in this group. Look at the run that Archer's got to the outside lane. Look at the run. He's going to go from 5th to 2nd in one fell swoop, but he can't quite complete the pass for 2nd as the 8 got a great run on the corner exit.
Yeah, I think he's going to take the run off the corner now, get a little bit of a draft off the 8 of Perez. Now he's going to move to the outside here. 3 wide.
And Stouffer building up a run again. Gabriel Perez is... Wasn't he spun out a little while ago? Here he is back in 2nd.
Didn't take him long. Oh, and Wood gonna yield the inside lane. Interesting.
Maybe he's concerned about contact with this 8 car. Maybe playing a bit of a safer bet.
So Wood's gonna effectively give up the lead here, and Perez now gonna lead this race.
Second pack here with a couple of the Sadie Sim Autosport cars all running together.
Yeah, this is led currently by AJ Burton in 14th, and actually about 3 seconds behind and losing time to the leaders.
And maybe they're just worried about some kind of issue happening here on corner exit. Perez and Stouffer down on the bottom, and Andrew Wood nowhere to go. He has to lift, and Kinsella's going to take all the momentum and run to 3rd with it, maybe even 2nd.
Yeah, and Perez moved and gave up the spot to Stouffer. Interested in that move. So we've seen the leader pull up to the high side twice in a row now.
Archer had to lift. That stacked up a whole bunch of cars behind him.
See how tight Archer's on entry there. Had to let off the gas just to get enough to get this car to rotate. Now here he comes with a run on Andrew Wood.
Kinsella to the lead on the bottom for turn 3. Kinsella to the top spot.
Yeah, a lot of swapping for the lead, which I find surprising. Now Kinsella's going to move up and let Stouffer on by.
Joe Branch of the 28, the Coca-Cola sponsored car on the inside lane. There's Demerit recovering from his, ironically, his broken arrow parts on that car.
He's lucky that he didn't get any more damage to that machine. There's only 2 of the wings, which he can replace, and he got back out on the track and running still pretty well.
18th to 1st for Andrew Kinsella. He'll lead lap number 35. Stouffer with a big run. Going to try to deny him that at the line. It's Kinsella.
Yeah, I think these guys are trying to pull away from the back, and you can see that's actually starting to work out for them a little bit. They're building a little bit of a gap. majority of the pack now is starting to get single file a little bit. The leaders are leapfrogging to keep their lead.
Andrew Wood hanging on to third place. Chad Simpson back up to 4th. And there in the background is the blue and black car. That's Gabriel Perez in the number 8. And how about Joe Branch in the middle of everybody right here in the Coca-Cola car? Again, he came into the night 5th in the standings. Has had a really consistent start to the year. And it'll be a nice night for him to finish inside the top 10.
And this season I think has gone a lot better for him than last season. Last season, at the very first race at Pocono, missed the race, didn't qualify in. This season looking a lot better for Joe Branch than Coca-Cola machine.
Working our way towards the 1/3 mark of this race at lap number 50. Speeds here are absolutely absurd. Down into the corner, Stouffer hangs on to the lead behind them. How about this Hornet's Nest?
Yeah, Demerit on the outside, Perez on the inside lane.
Ike trying to roll 6th place. There's Chad Simpson.
Yeah, Simpson's starting to fall back a little bit.
Clark Archer on the bottom. Then there's Joe Branch. And how about A.J. Burton getting back into this mix after the contact he had with the 8 car earlier?
And outside lane is on an absolute charge compared to the inside.
I hear some lap down cars, potentially Brennan Lichtenberg in the number 10. How much of a disappointment is this race going to be for him after getting tagged up in that first incident that we saw? This is going to be a really disappointing night. He's got a lot of floor damage to that car. It's just going to be a bad night.
Yeah, it really is. At least he's able to get the engine cover on the wing back, but yeah, definitely is not too hot right now. Currently 27th, about to go a lap down.
And he's running a, actually not terribly far off pace, but that car's certainly seen better days. 10 laps till halfway. Ooh, the Sadie Sim Autosport car is getting real tight in the background. How about this fight?
Yeah, they're slowly starting to inch their way up the order. There you see David Adams and Bradley Walters in the 56 and the 00.
They're chasing Ray Kingsbury and Philip Krause, who have been slowly inching their way forward. No big moves yet from these drivers, but they're getting closer and closer. And once they get up to the front with their teammate with the 42, Chad Simpson, I would expect them to go right back to what they did last race, and that was work together as a group. The whole spin! Walters around at the exit of turn 2. He saves it. What a drive there.
Yeah, I'm surprised he got boost. I was looking away at something else on the screen.
And he just caught the apron and spun out. Managed to hang on to it, though. What a drive. Lost a lot of time. That could be in his best interest, actually, with how crazy we've seen the racing up front be.
Speaking of crazy, here comes Gabriel Perez. Now it's trying to make a move back to Kinsella.
And Perez has been extraordinarily aggressive so far, but he hasn't had any contact yet. But the problem is once you make it, your night's over, and so is the guy that you hit. So you have to be careful. And here comes Kinsella to the inside of Stouffer for the top spot. Whoa! Tried to turn hard left. And Aaron Ruff said, nope. Fill that hole. But now he slips.
Zips by past the screen. There comes Aaron Ruffs in the 30 car. You can hear the audio, especially if you're listening with headphones. You just heard a car pass. That is Lichtenberg up the road.
Starting to pack up now again. This is a little bit concerning when you have this accordion effect. Everyone gets crunched back up together, Finian. How concerned does that make you that we're only a couple minutes away from having another accident?
I think it will be all right. I don't think we'll see these guys bunch back up as we saw earlier. I think the tires are just a little bit more aware. These guys have to be a little bit more careful of getting tight in these corners, so they're going to give each other some more space.
And that's Lichtenberg going a lap down on the outside lane, and you can see the field just blow right on by him here. There's Ike. Eight or more.
I'm curious if this car can even just hang out in the pack. Obviously, definitely not really a car you want to race with, but if he can hold the draft and just kind of hold station here in this pack and prevent himself from losing more time.
Yeah, the 32 of Andrew Wood kind of got parked in behind him, nowhere to go. But he'll lose some time. Up in front, though, Kinsella and Stouffer fighting for the lead. Here comes Chad Simpson to driver's right. 3 wide again for the top spot, lap 45.
Simpson's been trying a few times up to the front to gain to the spot, but he's kind of stalled out along this top 3. They're going to still sitting behind. And so Kinsella and Stouffer show up in the front. These guys are swapping positions yet again. I got to say, this leapfrogging's been working quite a bit. They haven't lost the lead.
That's Demerit on the bottom, but he has to lift. And look at all the time that he loses. As soon as he jumps out of the throttle, everyone's all over the back of him. Oh, the 8 of Gabriel Perez. He's going to hit pit lane. Does he have damage on that car, or is this a scheduled stop, do you think?
Yeah, it looks like a scheduled stop, but I'm surprised he's coming in by himself, so... We'll see if how this is going to play out here, or if we're due for some more cars down on pit road.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting anytime soon, but we'll take a look at the... Been out here for 23 laps. It seems early to me, but maybe he's planning to run this out and thinking this race is going to go green, so splitting this race up in a different way.
It's a bit of a risk. We'll see if it does pay off.
Here comes the 144. Whoa! Might have been a speeding penalty. He was in pretty hot.
Pit stop's underway here for some drivers.
Almost to the 1/3 mark of this race. Kinsella to the bottom of the racetrack. Stouffer on the outside. Simpson in 3rd. And AJ Burton has worked his way back up to 4th spot.
See, mostly single file now compared to when we were 2 and 3 wide. Still 3 wide at the front, though. As you see now, Burton trying to move his way back up. We saw Burton also get involved with Demerit, and they kind of slip back down the pack. Burton back up yet again.
Running on board with John Downing in the number 20. How about the speeds here? 229, 230, 232, 232 miles an hour on the back straightaway, and then keeping your foot to the floor through 3 and 4.
Just shy of the 3rd way mark on this race here.
And Christopher trying to keep the 14 of Kinsella behind. And it's just constant swapping back and forth. You can never have a moment in these cars where you get to relax. You're always fighting somebody. That's what we're seeing between Kinsella and Stouffer right now. You can't settle in because you're going to get eaten up by the drivers behind you. So if you want to stay up anywhere near the front, you have to race for it.
Yeah, and I think really these guys have a good thing going. Teammates working together by passing one another, kind of preventing these guys from getting some runs. So far, we've yet to see anyone take away that 2nd spot from these top 2. So I imagine we could see these guys doing this throughout the rest of the race.
Down the back straightaway, here comes the 14 again. And the Sadie Sim Autosports car is starting to creep their way forward. John Downing in the 20. The 00 of David Adams. The 56 of Bradley Walters. He narrowly avoided having a massive issue a couple laps ago. He's scored in 23rd right now. Chad Simpson all over the back of Kinsella. Going for 2nd.
And also, Downing now looks like he's going to make a move. Oh, no, Burton's going to pull off. I'm curious if this is maybe him potentially going to the pits or something? He pulled off quite early into the corner.
Maybe. Looks like he's slowing, so the 50 is going to hit pit lane. Will anybody come with him? It doesn't look like it. Here's for the lead. Stouffer to the inside.
A lot of single cars coming in by themselves to the pit. You can see that definitely some guys on a different agenda. While most of the packs can carry on.
Now, I'm a little bit surprised to see that too. A lot of drivers pitting off sequence from everybody else, but maybe this is better. I mean, when you pit in a big group, there's a lot of chance for issues as we go 3 wide again for the lead momentarily. There's a lot of more chance to run into somebody on pit lane when there's more cars down there. So when you come by yourself, you negate that risk. And honestly, I'm not really sure how much the draft is helping or hurting anybody. It seems like they're pretty much on the same pace as drivers running solo right now. So maybe there isn't a huge advantage to being in the draft other than having the ability to build a run and pass somebody. Go Branch up to 3rd. Started 24th tonight.
Yeah, this is a really impressive run. He's moved up even more spots. He's kind of hanging around the midfield, but now really making a solid effort to move up. And I think Kinsella and Stouffer coming in, as well as a few others. This is the first big group of guys we've seen come on down.
And David Adams and a few other drivers decided to come in on this sequence as well. So there's the 2 leaders, the 13 and the 14.
Whoa!
Car spinning.
Lichtenberg.
It's the 10 of Lichtenberg spinning on the entrance to pit lane. Will we see a caution? We will not.
This has gone from bad to worse for the 10. At least he didn't hit anything coming in.
Chad Simpson is your leader. He has led no laps today. I would think he'd stay out. No, he's going to hit pit lane. We'll give up that point for leading a lap. Locked up slightly, but job well done. Philip Kraus, however, will lead a lap as he comes across the line. His second lap he's led today.
Yeah, adding to his total, the lap he led earlier under caution before he came in and put himself in the back. Now up in the front there, you see that first big group of guys coming out of the pits now. There's also Jason Brophy there in the 88 in third place.
I'm waiting for this 88 because he's been very quiet. We have not heard a lot from him today as he hits pit lane. We have not heard or seen a lot of the 88, and his Homestead pace really showed up at the end of the race. So we're going to wait and see what happens in the 88.
And we have a lot of time. He actually passed Levick coming into the pits. Levick backed up way in the middle of the corner. Brophy went around him and then started slowing down.
So Christopher Demerit and Andrew Wood, your leaders for the time being.
And all the guys who have pit, it should be Andrew Wood, I believe, in front of them.
20 laps still halfway. Come out of turn 4. A group of cars that has already made their pit stops are now leading. I believe Demerit has also made his stop.
Yeah, Demerit has. So it's Demerit that's leading the groups at the top. Pretty much, actually, no, everyone's come in.
Everyone's made their stops, so we can get right back to racing.
There you see Demerit and Wood came flying past the picture there. Couldn't even tell whose car that was. And you can see the gap they built on the rest of the field. They had a really good pit stop sequence.
And now Wood's going to go to the lead in front of Demerit. Maybe these two will try to work together to build a gap because they are well out in front, 1.3 seconds in front of this other group. And I think they're going to work together now.
Yeah, this is kind of a no-brainer here. You might as well work together. If anything, if you work together, it just comes down between you two. If you don't win the race, you got a solid second.
Got a lot of racing left. I'm not convinced that the strategy will totally work, but we'll see if it does. They've extended that gap by 0.2 of a second. Simpson pulls hard left on corner exit, trying to pull alongside Stouffer down the back straight.
Yeah, I'm curious in comparing their lap times when they get back to the stripe. Between this group chasing and the leaders up in front.
So Simpson's best lap tonight is a 31.752. And Simpson will run this time a 32.3.
They went 2/10 faster.
Yeah, 32.1 for Demerit, so they are making time. Philip Kraus leading this group.
Somehow the Spark VR guys have, or at least one more, has joined the front. Philip Kraus has joined up with Chad Simpson, so we'll see if they can work together, get something going.
Yeah, there's only 2 of them, though, and we've seen in the past that you need to have really 3 or 4 cars to be able to control everybody. You just saw Stouffer just drive right on by. You need to have more than just 2 cars if you want to control that front group, and Wood and Demerit are making a ton of time right now. They are flying at the moment. Lap number 59 underway of 150, about 48 minutes to go. If we stay green to the end, we've had 2 cautions so far.
Yeah, you can definitely see this going to green to the end of this race. You can see the pack kind of split up into a few major packs.
Here's your 2 leaders. Lap down Carb, Lichtenberg, then the rest.
Yeah, that was all through Riley Thompson in 15th there for that second major pack. Then Chris Caho's leading another one.
Cahoe in the 57. I am surprised we haven't seen more from him so far. I thought, especially given his performance and how good he was at Homestead throughout most of the race, I'm surprised we haven't seen him climb a little farther up the order. He's right now relegated to 17th after starting 21st. Not a lot of progress in the 57 tonight.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys potentially have made errors on pit stop for dropping back so far past the leaders. They're running about 6 seconds back from that next group.
And there's Ray Kingsbury in 21st. Are we surprised at the lack of pace in the 25 or the 77, or is this expected and maybe they're just waiting for later in the race?
I'm a little bit surprised because, I mean, obviously some of the Spark VR cars got something going, and especially Kingsbury, too, has shown, I think, some decent prowess on these on the speedways over anything else. So a little bit surprised to see him this far back. We'll see if he can make up anything and move himself forward.
So take this for what you will, but his best lap is a 31.229, which is faster than everybody else in front of him, except for Simon Bryant in the 22. So there's some really good lap times out there, but Ray Kingsbury's times are right up there. I just don't know if he's got the drivability that the drivers in the front of the pack have.
Demerit and Wood, they're starting to lose a little bit of time to that second group in behind them. It's slowly trickling them back in.
Well, you see how they're organized now. Before they were just a big mess of cars. Now they're sorted out in a mostly single file line, and this is a lot like what you see in NASCAR plate racing. If you want to catch the group in front of you, you got to single file out and stop racing each other.
Yeah, at least the first 5 cars need to kind of single file. That's really where the runs get to come. The guys kind of in the back are more or less trailing along for the ride. And That time by the gap was looking at about 1.5 seconds, so it grew a little bit then. So I think Wood and Demerit, if they can keep that gap above a second, they're out of the draft from these lead guys and they can keep them in behind.
Yeah, but they're Andrew Kinsella is only 1.2 back from Wood, so he's on the verge of gathering some draft back. Not totally out of the woods yet. But now they're starting to race again, so maybe they'll drop down the order a little bit more.
You didn't get your pun you said there?
I didn't get my pun. What did I say?
Out of the woods.
Oh, I wasn't, pun not intended.
That was a really good one. I know you didn't mean that. That was a really good one.
Well, thank you.
You see Stouffer and Kinsella go side by side yet again. They kind of double foul up yet again in this second pack.
You see AJ Burton again, how impressive he's been on the 2-mile super speedways. Think back to Fontana at the end of last season, and even tonight, he's been up here fighting for the top 10, top 5 positions. I don't think he's got a race-winning car at the moment, but certainly good enough to finish solidly inside the top 10. Race-winning cars, though, you have to talk Chris Stouffer, you have to talk Andrew Kinsella, you have to talk Chad Simpson. He's been good so far. Drivers that we haven't really talked about a whole lot tonight, Tony Schowen in the 31. Didn't really do much of anything last week.
I didn't even recognize that was his car. I'm so used to seeing his Busch all red paint scheme. More of a throwback paint scheme. Now he's got a different livery this week.
It's a Budweiser scheme.
Oh, it's Budweiser.
Busch is blue. But Schowen, 16th to 11th. Nothing remarkable out of this car tonight, but nothing remarkable last week either. So I'm not sure what's up with this team, but they have not quite been on it this season as they were last season at times. Think back to Texas, race 3 of last season. He was competing for the race win. Meanwhile, up towards the front, look who's caught this front group.
They've fallen in behind. Or actually, it's more of just, it looks like just Demerit fell in behind. Wood's still up there. So I'm not sure why.
Not for long, though. Yeah. Stouffer, Kinsella, and more are going to draft right back up to the 32, but certainly a mistake. I wonder if Demerit got in the fence because he is slowing way down.
Something happened to him. I kind of want to take a look back at what happened because I think something major. Because we saw there was like a decent second gap at least between Wood, Demerit, and the rest of the pack. So
this is a little while ago. I wonder if this is at the exit of turn 2.
No, this is already. He started drifting back to them.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I mean, like he had made a mistake somewhere, but he just. Here's a look. Oh, bit of a miscommunication. Oh. Another block by the 32, and that might have lent some nose damage to the 144.
And it's kind of ended their little happy parade up in the front.
Didn't see any damage on that car, but it might have spooked him a little.
No, I think they got really close. Yeah, I think it was just a miscommunication, and Demerit having to slow up that allowed the pack to draft off of him, and then Wood was a sitting duck, and now you see Wood losing the lead to Stouffer.
What was a 2-car tango at the front of the field has now relegated itself back to a multi-car fight after a bit of a cheeky blocker, either a blocker or miscommunication. But here comes John Downing in the 20 up to the lead.
Yeah, I think it was more of a miscommunication. I doubt they would throw a block, especially for Wood, considering they had something good going there.
And not at that speed, you wouldn't try that either. Yeah. That's a bad place and a wrong time to do it as well. Still a lot of racing left to go. I wouldn't be throwing blocks at this point in the race.
There comes Downing, as you're saying, on the outside. What a major move to the inside.
Wow.
Whoa, that came out of nowhere.
It's tight, almost not going to work. Yeah, he just chucked it down in there and hoped it stuck, and it almost did. Oh, big bobble. And Joe Branch has to lift.
Man, that was an amazing move.
That was a Ross Chastain and Daytona level move right there.
That caught us off guard because I wasn't expecting him to do that.
He just threw it up there. I don't think there was any consideration of consequences there for a moment. He saw a hole and went for it.
At least he kept it off the Stouffer there as the car was trying to get tight. And that's the problem with entering the corner so low. You really can't get a good run there and the car starts to get tight.
Stouffer and Downing for the lead. Stouffer has come so close to winning races this past season and a half and has not gotten there lately. 5 laps to halfway.
Really starting to wind down here. We slowed earlier in the race by 2 cautions and we've been green ever since I think around lap 15.
Yeah, it's been. Our last green flag dropped at 7:49 on the eastern coast. It's now 8:15, so it's been basically 25 minutes since we've had a caution flag. We continue to fight for the top spot through 3 and 4. How about 220?
Here's the second group. Picture now.
Philip Kraus in the number 19. kind of following and chasing. And we've talked about his consistency. He almost won at Indianapolis at the road course earlier in the season, and he's been in competition for race wins, but hasn't gotten it done. Do you think a guy like Jason Brophy winning 2 races, and at least last week was quite lucky, do you think that's kind of gnawing away at the 19, or do you think that that's just part of the game and he's focused on his own season?
I think he's focused on his own season, especially considering he's done a fantastic job at least getting to the consistent finishes. I mean, granted, you don't necessarily have to win a race to win a championship. You know, you can finish second all year long and you can pretty much almost lock up the championship that way. So I think for him, this is a matter of continuing to get those solid finishes, and so far, again, looking to get another one tonight if you can keep up the pace.
Currently the best running Spark VR car at the moment in 8th place. Chad Simpson back in 10th. Bit of a checkup on the outside groove. Ike has to lift. Still side by side, and take a drink every time I say side by side for the next 75 laps, because we're almost halfway through this race. And it's side pod to side pod out of turn number 4. Downing and Stouffer inches apart. And here comes AJ Burton with a big run.
Yeah, almost wheeled a little contact there on the front straightaway. Downing with a better line into turn 1.
And clouds have come over the speedway. Has that cooled the track off at all? Not really. It's still pretty toasty out there. Here comes AJ Burton. Quick flick of the wrist to the right. 3 wide for the top spot.
We've got a really good run on that outside lane, but unfortunately he's all the way to the outside. So he's going to be going the long way around.
Downing trying to hold that car on the bottom, and the 50 will have to tuck back in line. Downing tucks back in. Burton on the outside. Stouffer on the bottom for the lead. Halfway here in the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. The Triptacular Memories Triple Crown. 75 laps down, 75 laps to go. Make it 74 as they cross the line.
Almost tie at the line there as Burton's starting to build up a run. Now Downing back in 3rd place and Kinsella on the outside in 4th.
Had 28 lead changes in 77 laps. Wheel to wheel at the corner exit there down the back straight. Here comes Downing again.
Burton's gonna manhandle the spot away from Chris Stouffer. That was an amazing move out the inside.
Corner exit. We've had 2 cautions, both early in the going. And Demerit pulls off for a pit stop, locks up the brakes, and he's going to bring Andrew Wood with him.
Yeah, they're going to try something again. I think they're going to do that same strategy we saw earlier to get the lead back, and I think that's why we saw them break away. And I think I definitely remember Demerit coming in early, not so much Wood, but I imagine that's what allowed them to make the work. So they're going to, I guess this is attempt number 2 with that strategy, and if they can get it to work properly, I don't see them losing the lead next time.
Now what about everybody else? 2-stop race from here, you think?
Yeah, I think we're just about in that range here where you can start thinking about doing that. You have to go, what, 35 laps to the end on each stint. And taking a look at where these guys are at on the field.
27 laps into the run here. Again, if they can go 35... really good. They've stopped, or at least AJ Burton has stopped thrice tonight. Most of the rest of the field has only come, most of the rest of the field has come 3 times. Once on the cautions and once on a green flag stop. Rouse, and here comes Tony Schowen creeping into the mix here. I knew it would only be a matter of time before he got up in here, and here he is in 8th right now.
Trying to get it away from Kraus, but before he can do that, Joe Branch has sent it up the inside of him, and he's going to take away the spot, and Branch going to try to work also on Philip Kraus.
80 laps complete here at Michigan International Speedway for the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. Across the line, Burton leads this lap. Burton has led only 3. Stouffer has led 29. Kinsella right behind. He's led 6.
It hasn't really necessarily been in the lead, but it's definitely been in the front, especially the top 3 for the majority of this race.
when will we see more pit stops? It's only a matter of time before we see more cars peeling off.
I think these guys are going to try to run out the thing as long as they can, especially if we get a caution too from guys wrecking coming onto pit road. Definitely a shot at happening.
One car that has kind of disappeared off the radar is Gabriel Perez in the number 8. Not sure if he ever had to serve a penalty or what, but he has dropped way down the order. He is now a lap down in 26th, so something happened to him, and
I think he might have had a penalty.
Doesn't look, well, at least on the last stop he didn't. Maybe he's already come in for his... yeah, he came into pit lane 7 laps ago. That's probably why he is where he is. So, we'll see how that pans out for him. Meanwhile, for 4th place, Ike Downing fighting for the spot.
And now here comes Chowan up into 5th place, highest he's been all night.
Right behind the white and red striped car, then sandwiched between 2 Sadie Sim Autosport cars.
Yeah, this is John Downing that he's now trying to work to the outside of it. This pack's kind of spread out a little bit here.
Cars peeling off. There goes Stouffer into pit lane.
Yeah, interesting left, not Kinsella. So interested to see the teammates splitting the decision there.
Chris Cahill in the background coming on down in the 57. Bradley Walters in the 56. There in front of them is Clark Archer's 29. And Stouffer goes up on the jacks. Meanwhile, down the back straight, very orderly line of race cars right now.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone knows it's pit stop times. You don't want to try to race as many guys because they might be coming into the pits.
Joe Branch leads the way. More cars coming. Andrew Kinsella.
And Andreas Ike as well. And John Downing and a few others.
Sun back out over the speedway through turns 1 and 2. And there's cars rejoining. But Brant Schowen, Brian Krause Simpson, your top 5.
And try to look.
Whoa, to the inside. Sorry to cut you off. Tony Schowen thought he was going to be content with 2nd. He won't be to the lead.
Yeah, looks like he's going to try to lead a lap, and now Joe Branch is going to be slowing down in 4, coming into the pits this time. Oh, even Schowen's coming in.
And that was a spectacular move by Schowen to get the track position away from the 28. He's a lot more aggressive in doing so, and that's going to help him out later. What were you saying before?
I was going to say I was looking at where Andrew Wood came out in comparison to Chris Stouffer, and it looks like he's come out behind him.
And we're looking at him right now. In the middle of the screen is the silver car of Stouffer, then the brown and white car in the upper right of your screen. That's Andrew Wood at 32. There he is.
Yeah, actually, I think I see the reason why Wood wasn't able to overtake him. We saw him and Demerit come in a little bit further back as Chris Demerit, so Demerit didn't get as good of a stop as the 32.
No, it's like his last stop was a 13-second stop, which is certainly lengthy.
Yeah, which is that's exactly right. It's about 5 or 6 seconds over what you want it to be.
Chad Simpson on pit lane in the number 42. Philip Kraus is in control of this race as it stands, and he is 32 laps into the run. We'll likely see him shortly. Here comes Jason Brophy in the 88 as well. Similar strategy for him.
He's going to rock it around the outside now and take command of this race yet again.
Frank Levick in the 77, running in 2nd. Kingsbury in 3rd. These drivers still have to make another pit stop, or 2. And you see Andrew Kinsella and Stouffer. These drivers are actually behind the drivers that we were just looking at. They have already made their pit stop.
I would imagine we should be able to see these guys go to the end, at least for Brophy. He's gone 32 now, going to complete 33 laps on a single tank of gas. So we got just about 62 laps left to go in this race. So
there is the 19 on the inside lane rejoining the racetrack. And so does Riley Thompson. We have not talked about Riley Thompson at all tonight.
Yeah, he's been pretty quiet. He's been in this lead pack, and as I say that, it looks like he actually might lose the lead pack here.
He's had an unremarkable night. Hasn't been up towards the front quite yet. Hasn't been on a lap yet, at least. But not a bad night by any stretch of the imagination. Running 16th right now with some drivers still to pit. As here comes Brophy off of pit lane, and he's going to get driven right by here. He'll slot himself in right about 10th spot or so.
Yeah, he'll slot himself into the pack, which is the big key thing. So he's definitely still in contention for the win.
So there's a couple cars, stragglers in the back of the field. The 8 of Perez still all the way back in 23rd spot. Up towards the front, you're going to see the field coming around here in just a moment. It's Kinsella leading Stouffer, Schowen, Burton, Wood, Ike, Downing, Bryant, Kraus, and Branch as your top 10. There's the lead pack. Very orderly right now, all nose to tail.
I think they know it's now it's time to just kind of wait this out, especially because they've lost quite a few cars at this point in that leading group. It's they're about 13 cars strong from Kinsella back to David Adams. You see Riley Thompson by himself in the middle of the two groups.
That's not a good place to be.
And even too for Christopher Demerit, we saw again they had a shot of working with Wood to get the break away from the lead, but that lengthy pit stop has cost him. He's lost the lead group and now leading that second back. There you can see him there.
Kehoe swinging to the outside. So about 60, make it 59 laps to go. It's about 30 minutes of racing left in this race. Do you have any predictions? Because I'm taking a look around at some of the drivers that have been good tonight, and right now the top three drivers, Kinsella, Stouffer, Burton, you can mix them up in a coffee can and pick out a name, and I think any one of those could win.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of guys have a shot at winning the race tonight, especially those top three. I think are definitely one of the strongest cars in the field. Also, just kind of looking down at who was left in the lead pack, I wouldn't necessarily count out that 32 Ranger Wood. I think he's definitely got some pace in that car. He's been hiding. We'll see if he can get it done.
Riley Thompson has latched himself onto the tail of this group, and that's a much better place to be than in the middle of the two groups. He is now able to climb his way forward. We're right on board.
He's slowly just kind of slot himself and slingshot his way up to the front.
Working lap number 94 of 150 here in Michigan International Speedway for the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Indy Elite Series and the Triptacular Memories Triple Crown. And the first Triple Crown event was hosted by Indy Speedway. It was the very start of the season. Our last Triple Crown event will be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the last round of the season. And this is kind of the one that splits both of them. The other two bookend the season. This one splits it in half. Double points again tonight, and this with the points coming in the evening, and Henry Bennett down in 30th. This is going to be a disastrous night for him in the points. Philip Kraus right now scored in 10th spot. It'll be a decent night for him. Jason Brophy in the 88. So lots of racing, but he's down in 13th. Adam Blocker not here tonight, so he's going to miss out on some points. Joe Branch, however, running in 4th, and as it stands, he might actually walk out of here as the points leader as things run.
Yeah, he might, honestly, yeah, because double points. I think it'll take a lot, though. I think Brophy and Kraus would have to almost wreck out for him to gain that much back, but definitely looking at least closing that gap, which I think is going to be definitely the key thing, and he could easily insert himself into the championship picture.
And Stouffer, 74 points back for the lead, tied with Schowen coming into the night, and Andrew Kinsella. Well, this would certainly put him ahead if you were to win, but Kinsella's right behind him, so I'm not sure that those
Schowen as well. So a lot of guys looking to position themselves back into the championship here. As a lot of the guys a little bit further on back, they're running really well, and again, double points, so this race means even more.
We dangled the carrot at them earlier in the race with some fun, but when you dangle the carrot in front of them, that's when you assign the points at lap 150. Oh, it's going to be on. I think everyone is just waiting in line. It's the calm before the storm right now.
Yeah, I really think it is, and I think even really we won't see it really kick up into high gear until after the final pit stop, because those guys have to make another trip down the pit road. After that, then it's really going to be a sprint to the finish.
So when do you make your stop? I mean, we know that the fuel window is between 30 to 35 laps. Do you make it with 35 to go, or do you wait a little bit later and try to get a short stop?
I would run the tank out. I wouldn't really try to game it at all, just in case a caution comes out. If your caution comes out and you're a lap down, it's going to be really tough to get that back.
Chris Stouffer continues to lead the race. He has led 35 laps tonight, which I believe is a race high. And the only other drivers that are close, Kinsella has led 10, AJ Burton has led 5, Andrew Wood has led 16, and Christopher Merritt has also led 5 laps.
Yeah, actually, you can see the second group is kind of cut back up, so...
I know, they are there. They definitely caught back up. They're right back in the mix now. So we're now, what, probably 20-something cars strong at this point?
Pretty much, yeah. I think all the way back from first to 21st. So the tail end of the field is... tail end of the pack is Reichenberg.
So, lap number 99 of 150. I still am surprised about the 25 and 77 hanging out in 20th, 21st. Now that this group is back together, do you think they're going to charge up to the front, or do you think they're still going to wait till after that last stop?
It still seems like they're waiting. Ooh, and Andrew Wood
Big
really
stack
slow
up.
off the corner.
Yeah, a little stack up in front of them, and Chris Cahill going to take advantage of that, jump up about 5 or 6 spots into 6th.
Double file for a majority of the pack now. Starting to get a little bit racy here.
Cahill now in the middle. Not a whole lot of air there, but now the inside clears, and he finds himself in 3rd down the back straightaway. Going for the lead now. Great mid-run for the 57. Going to take all that speed to the front in his Diet Coke sponsored car.
Yeah, he's been really quiet tonight. Haven't seen a lot of the 57 car, but as he comes to the line here,
he'll just lead it. Over Shawn, but Shawn to go to the inside lane for turn number 1.
I think now you'll find we're kind of dropping back a little bit. We'll be able to lead a lap. Starting to see some names in the front that they haven't really seen a whole lot of this race. They're kind of hanging out in the mid-pack now. They're starting to make themselves known.
And the 30 is up here, battling for 2nd.
Ooh.
And Aaron's going to have to run a little bit wide. He's all the way up in that 3rd lane, trying to find some racing room. And Christopher DeMerit's back after dropping back under that last pit sequence.
Massive run up from around 15th spot to the front of the field now. They're taking that run all the way to the front.
And Joe Branch has found some pace in the late going. Has pretty much sat in 5th for the last couple laps, and I don't think he's really going anywhere. He's got a lot of pace right now. All right, now look at what I'm seeing. Ray Kingsbury has begun his climb up to 12.
It's been a massive climb again. It was at 21st at the tail end of the pack, not even 5 laps to go.
I'm going to just ride on board with him for a few laps here as we see him build his runs and how patient he's willing to be, how aggressive he's willing to be. We're under 50 laps to go. Pit stops within 20 laps.
It is a prize, a lot of patience. You can definitely take it up to the front if you want, but I mean, you also got to plan out your moves. Otherwise, you can find yourself kind of stalling up and even falling back if you don't make the moves carefully.
And it seems like he's lifting now, so pretty content with where he is. And drivers that are not content with where they are up at the front, they're still fighting. 30 to the lead. Cahill to the outside. DeMerit back to 3rd.
DeMerit trying to eye up a run here, potentially, with the guys with the lead. It's going to be Ruffs that leads a lot. Why are you looking at me like that?
I was waiting to see who was going to talk first.
Oh, okay. you're looking at me. I was like, are you trying to do something or what?
For the top spot, Shawn leads the way across the line, lap 105 of 150. And Christopher DeMerit, AJ Burton, Joe Branch all hanging out inside the top 10. And Aaron Ruff's in the number 30 to the lead again. He's got a really strong car right now.
He's trying to keep in charge of these 2 lanes here. There you see Shawn up to the front, and then on the inside is Chris Cahill, and DeMerit also waiting in that blue and yellow car in the middle.
It seems really interesting to me that we've seen a lot of drivers that started at the tail now working their way to the front. Do you think this is because their setups are trimmed out for race pace more than qualifying pace? Because we've seen that be an issue in the past where drivers will set up the car for the race and have a terrible time in qualifying.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think they might have just had their car set up for race. I think they're just being patient for most of the run here, just kind of waiting till the later stages to really punch the gun and start moving themselves up to the front. I mean, we're really, for most of the day, we've been talking about Stouffer and Kinsella. And Stouffer's back in 7th, Kinsella back in 10th.
Yeah, they really dropped off their pace. Ray Kingsbury is up to 8th. His climb continues.
And DeMerit down on pit road.
Okay, so that is 44 laps to go. When you go all that way, that seems pretty long to me.
Yeah, I think they might have. He might be. I think it's a little bit long as well.
He knows what his fuel situation is. It seems like he just came down pit lane, so I can't imagine that he would be pitting and knowingly sacrificing up his race. I mean, I'm sure there's some strategy to that, but we'll only find out when the checkered flag flies tonight. Crossover for the top spot. Cahill leads the way. DeMerit leaves pit lane on the bottom of the racetrack. And for all the speed that Gabriel Perez had in the early part of this race, he has been way off pace and down in 26.
He needed a caution a really long time ago. I'd say almost 50 laps ago. I think that first sequence of pit stop, he timed it wrong or just came in at the wrong time. Something happened. And lost the draft and never picked it up again.
Still dueling at the front of the pack. 3 wide again. These guys have been absolutely relentless. We have not had a caution since, well, basically 50 minutes. It's been a very long time. Since about lap number 30, if I recall correctly. So it's been a while, and I think we're due for one, Vinny. And with these, how these guys are racing, it might come from the front. Burton and Ruff's almost banging side pods together as they enter turn 3.
Yeah, Burton's going to take the spot away. Ruff's now dropping to second, potentially third, as Chris Caho's moving up the inside, trying to get the spot. Another driver down on pit road, that is Andrew Wood, I believe.
Yeah, so he'll come with about 41 laps to go. And after the heartbreak and the fuel loss last week, I can't imagine he put himself in a similar situation, so he must feel like he's good to go to the end.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. It's kind of stretching. I haven't really seen anyone go that far. I definitely know that for Brophy, he's gone. He went the longest on the last set of pit stops with 32 laps.
40 laps to go this time by. Chris Cahoe leads the race. Ray Kingsbury has slotted himself up into 7th, and his climb continues as it has for the last 15 or 20 laps.
Here's where he's going to finally be somewhat content for riding a line until this next wave of pit stops. I expect the majority of these guys to be on pit road in about 5 to 8 laps time.
And how controlled and calm it looks right now. It's going to be very chaotic in these last 25 or so laps, and we're about 10 laps until that will assumedly start. For the lead, Burton to the inside.
Easily going to take the spot. KO not going to put up much of a fight at this point.
Andrew Wood might be able to attack himself on the back of that group and get a bit of a draft. And he did come out behind Christopher Demerit, who is in this group. And with this draft, I'm liking where this 144 is. It's just all about the fuel if he's going to be able to make it all the way to the end.
He came in pretty early.
About 42 or 43 laps ago, if I recall correctly. And again, once we are about 4 or 5 laps from now, I would expect the pit window to open for everybody else, and that's when we'll see more cars come. Clark Archer has just hit pit lane, so a few more cars coming down early.
And this, I imagine, guys who came in a little bit earlier probably than they needed to. I think he was actually...
he's upshifting and downshifting to get the pit limiter to kind of flop around a little bit. Aaron Ruffs comes to pit lane. He's going to bring Chris Cahoe and Marshall Stanley with him. And so now I'd have to assume the pit window is fully open, and these will be our final stops of the night. Sans another caution to mix things up. And I predict that we will have a caution.
We'll see. I think we are definitely due for one. It's been a fairly clean race. Only 2 cautions for tonight. And potentially be the total 150 laps. But yeah, I think we've been too green for too long. As we see some of the leaders come on down, it's going to be
Showen and Burton.
Just those 2.
And Branch leads this lap, has Jason Brophy tucked in behind, and this is where I'm starting to think Brophy's put himself in a good position. He won Homestead on pace, he won Milwaukee on fuel mileage. Well, tonight, he might need a little bit of luck to go with those 2 things. Be a little bit less fuel mileage than last week, though.
Yeah, I also think for a key for a lot of these guys is nailing those pit stop. You can't afford to make a mistake. We saw Demerit, he had a 13-second stop last run. But I think now, with this is going to be the money stop here, you can't afford to make a mistake, otherwise you're going to end up dropping out of the pack.
35 laps to go this time by. Branch, the leader. And Ray Kingsbury up to 3rd, and he's got Philip Kraus with him. Bit of a tight condition for Kraus out of turn 2. And now the Spark VR teammates again. We have not seen them team up like we did last year, but they have found the front when they need to find it.
It's been slow and methodical, but they've someone ended up to the front here in the middle of the sequence. Logan Simmons is on pit road. He started dead last in 33rd.
And as it stood, I believe that he actually still has the fastest lap of the race at a 31.009. He's been pretty quick tonight.
And think you're right with that. I don't see anyone anywhere close to his fastest lap.
Yeah, I showed it up on the top ticker. It is a 31:09. It is the fastest lap winner of the night so far. But going to crank everything up a little bit for these final 25 or so, final 30 laps.
I think Joe Branch is going to be coming on in.
Here he comes. Off throttle, blending the brake and the throttle to keep the car stable. Pit limiter on, he's in.
And also John Downing looks like he's going to join him, as well as John Poole and David Adams. Brophy in front. That's like Christopher Demerit actually leading the pack. However, he's not necessarily a lap down, although Carling from being so.
Fight, fight, fight. We're only 30 laps to go, 32 laps to go, so no reason to get out of it now. You've got to fight for everything it's worth. Meanwhile, another car peeling off. I think that was Simon Bryant in the 22.
A little bit sideways for him, but he's down on pit road. Still waiting for the top 6 drivers. Brophy, Kingsbury, Kraus, Thompson, Levick, and Simpson to make their final stop.
Exiting turn 2. Next time by will be lap number 120. There's 17 minutes remaining in this race. If it's 8:41 for you, we're on the East Coast. This race will be over by 9 p.m. Eastern if it goes green in the end.
Still not seeing you guys come down pit road.
Bryant is out. Andrew Wood has already made his stop. You see him. He's leading this one lap down group. Christopher Demerit is at the head of this formation, although he is just on the tail edge of the lead lap. And here comes Tony Shaw into the inside. Trade that position. He'll take that spot back. So these guys would effectively be the leaders of the race when everything cycles back around, given if they've had a really efficient cycle, that's what they'll pop out. If they didn't have as good of a cycle, the drivers behind them right now will be in front of them.
And from the leading group, Riley Thompson and Chad Simpson have dipped out of that top 6, and now the top 4 are the only drivers yet to make their stop.
So 30 laps to go now. Do you think pitting later is the move, or do you think pitting earlier? I thought you said earlier pitting later was the right call.
I think pitting later might be the better call here, because we're starting to see, I've noticed that these guys have really, the tires really start to fall off by the end of the run. And I think they're trying to pit later so that way they have fresher tires by the end of the race when you really need them the most.
Here comes Kingsbury and Kraus from 2nd and 3rd.
And Brophy gonna stay out for another circuit.
Praying for a yellow is the 88 that would trap a whole lot of drivers a lap down. At the moment, there's only 6 cars scored on the lead lap.
I imagine he's gonna have to come on this time by.
It looks like he's on the inside giving way. And we'd expect to see this 88 car come this time.
He's been good at the strategy so far this year. 2 wins to his name. Gonna try to make it a 3rd tonight. Oh,
there he goes.
No, mistake.
Spins onto the pit lane entry. And that will effectively take him out of a chance to win this race. And I believe he might have stalled that car. Yes, he has. He stalled the car, Finney, and that's it. Has to reset back to the pits. No starters on these machines. That's really a shame. Had a chance to win, spun it out, didn't get the clutch foot in. And he'll be retired for now. Might be able to pull back out on the racetrack, but he's going to be laps down by that point.
Yeah, that's a really big error for the 88 of Brophy.
So, that gives the lead back to Demerit and Shawen for the top spot. Andrew Wood, Cahoe, 30 of Aaron Ruffs, the 25 of Kingsbury, the 58 of Riley. Thompson is in this fight. Oh, he's back a little ways, but he's in the fight. And we're closing in on 25 laps to go. Tell me who wins this race, Finney, and what's your prediction?
I have honestly no clue. I know it's not much of a prediction, but there's so many guys still in this race. Again, really due to the fact that we had next to no cautions, only 2 tonight. We've got green for majority of the rest of it. In fact, we were closing in on being 100 laps under green flag conditions. So there's still a lot of guys in, and this entire field has been flipped on its head, especially in that last run. And approaching the end of this here.
I say Cahoe wins this thing. He looks so strong right now. He's running really, really good lap times. I think that 57's been good enough that he'll go home with a trophy tonight. He's only led 8 laps, but I'm going to tell you, he'll lead the last one.
Yeah, I'm amazed. Where has Kinsella and company?
Kinsella is all the way down in 23rd. I'm going to take a bet that there might have been a penalty involved here.
I would be surprised if there wasn't.
Yeah, it looks like there was. Yeah. So Andrew Kinsella, his day started so well, he led a bunch of laps early. It will not end at the top of the board.
And again, this is what I was talking about. You know, between Kinsella and Brophy. I said earlier before the pit stop sequence started, you had to make sure you didn't make a mistake on this pit stop because this is going to be the last one for the night under green flag conditions. You had to make it work and make it count. Unfortunately, those two guys make a mistake. You can see they pay the price, dropping outside the top 20.
So, hearing that Brophy's car stalled not because they didn't get the clutch in, because it ran out of fuel.
That's what I was surprised by, because these things should have anti-stall in it.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's why I was a little bit curious about it. And I was because he did strut the fuel quite a bit, so I think he couldn't get it going again because he needed to coast under fuel, and I think that might have been why he put it in so hot.
Yeah, that's probably just trying to carry some speed into pit lane, but again, you're right, those cars do have anti-stall. Now, I have seen ways to fool the anti-stall, so if you spin the car around backwards, sometimes you can get it to run backward and stall the car, but when you have no fuel running through the motor, that doesn't help you. So, unfortunately, he will not have a good end of the day. He is back out on the racetrack 2 laps down, but effectively, chance for the race win over.
Yeah, this is just really to make up points. It's really unfortunate because he's going to pay the price in the points. Meanwhile, Philip Kraus is running in 70. He's looking to gain a lot.
This will be a really good night for the 19. His consistency has been rock solid so far this year, but it's going to be gnawing at him just a little bit to not get these race wins when everyone else around him is getting checkered flags.
Well, he'll be laughing when the championship trophy can hold on to the points lead by the end of this. I mean, his two main competitors at this point in the championship, Bennett and Brophy, have suffered a lot in this race.
I mean, I don't know if you... I mean, I would be really impressed if you could win a championship without winning races, because look at what Adam Blocker did last season. He just went out and he just won races left and right, and we have not seen a driver win the championship without winning races before. So it would be really interesting to see if he could pull it off. It would be certainly impressive, but having good runs in the Triple Crown races is a heck of a way to do it.
I think what he's really counting on for that to work is really, especially we've kind of seen this so far the season now, we haven't really seen one driver dominate the order as much as we saw Blocker last season. It's been a mix of drivers up toward the front, and I think that disparity in that and him just being consistently up to the front has been helping him a lot.
If I recall correctly, Blocker's won 2 races, and so has Brophy, but neither of those two drivers really dominated the races they were in. They just kind of stumbled across it. So certainly no dominating drivers so far. However, I will say that our lead pack has now dwindled. Ooh, Shawan hitting pit lane. Was he scheduled to come back in?
No, I don't think he is. I think he's short.
Oh,
or something.
That takes 31 out of the fight. Kehoe in the lead, but look at the second pack they have caught in this group. And we're going to have a 15 or 20 car fight for the win now. Next time by will be 20 laps to go. So Shawan hits pit lane with 21 laps left in this race, and that's certainly not what we expected. He's got a lot of ground to make up, and he's going to be hoping and praying for a caution flag at this point.
Either Jaws music, because here comes AJ Burton in that second pack that's caught up to the leaders, Wood, Demerit, Roofs, and KO, and it's now much more cars in this race here with 20 laps to go.
Andrew Wood in 4th. You see look how fast they're catching them. About 4 to 6 tenths a lap was the difference that they were gaining the last few times around. And he's going to take that, run to the inside, go for 4th, now go for 3rd, and go for 2nd through 3 and 4. Big slip on corner exit, though. Couldn't keep the car committed. He's going to lose all that ground he just made.
Yeah, I'm curious, actually, we can pull up the side of the time screen. I'm curious, out of this entire group, who's the last, one of the last cars to come down?
11 laps to go. Simpson in 14th. Kingsbury, 11. Kraus, Thompson. And that's it.
Pretty much the entire second group was guys that pit later, so they got fresher rubber by quite a bit, and I think it's going to matter. Especially at the end of the race, they're going to be able to move their car around a lot more, and especially up the inside.
So here's the 19 and the 25, the Spark VR team. And look who's here as well, the 77 of Frank Levick, the Spark VR teammates lining up. The 42, we have not seen it. Oh, here he is. He's also here. So there's all 4 Spark VR cars at the front of the field are in a group, and they're ready to climb forward and do what they did the whole race last year. Maybe they're just planning on doing it the last 5 or 10 laps, but look at this. Spark VR car, Spark VR car, Spark VR car, Spark VR car.
Granted, for them last season last season with the race in Michigan, it didn't really work out.
No,
at the
but
end,
it was a very good strategy.
Yeah,
it just didn't quite pan out. More cars hitting pit lane, and there goes Demerit, and ooh, a big lockup, and that is it's like AJ Burton.
Oh.
Hitting pit lane. So yeah, those guys definitely had to make another stop. Yeah. Now that everyone else that pitted later, though, they're done. I mean, they're done. They can go. So I think they were maybe expecting a caution that they didn't get.
I think that's what they're kind of banking on. I imagine Roos and KO might be in the same boat, as those other guys that came down pit road.
I'm really liking seeing these teammates together, though. I think this is going to be a great way to end this race, to have all your friends around you when it's going to get chaotic, when you have everyone vying for every inch on the racetrack, to have guys that you trust and guys that you're working together with around you. That's a winning strategy for me. Up at the front, Ruffs leads the race. Cahoe in second, Wood third, Branch, Stouffer fourth and fifth.
Yeah, they got quite a bit of cars to work through, though. And no one's going to give an inch now.
Wood, defensive line on the back straightaway, keeping Branch and Stouffer behind him. Cahoe continues to tick off laps in command of this race. 15 laps to go this time by. Wood's going to hit pit lane. Can't make it to the end.
At least Roos and Cahoe, that original group, still out there. Stouffer now starting to hound the back of them, and this should be pretty easy for him. He can throw it up the inside.
Running out of time, running out of laps. 7 minutes of racing left if we go green to the end. Cahoe back to the top spot. Stouffer in third, building up a run. He's just waiting for his time to strike, and behind him, it's a whole host of Riley Thompson and a whole bunch of Spark VR cars waiting to pounce.
And here comes Riley Thompson. And Thompson's also been a bit quiet on the radar for most of this race. Has not really been a lot higher than the top 5. Now here he is at the end of the race where it matters the most. He's going to work around the outside of Stouffer, at least try to off the 2.
Andrew Wood comes out of the pits right back into traffic. Cahoe back to the bottom for turn 3. The Triptacular Memories Triple Crown here at Michigan for the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series has 13 laps left. And Cahoe leads. He has led tonight. 18 laps, make it 19 as they cross the line. There's only one more lap you gotta lead, and that's lap number 150. In about 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to compete with these guys in behind them. And here comes the Spark VR guys again. They've kind of stalled out a little bit.
They got slightly separated with Andrew Wood, and that's Joe Branch in between them. So it's Levick and Krause, and then a couple cars, then Simpson and Bryant, or excuse me, Kingsbury and Simpson. Then Simon Bryant behind them. So they have gotten separated. But something tells me they're still waiting, and I think they're not quite confident in this front group. At least Kingsbury and Simpson might not be, as they're 3 wide again. Looking 4 as the 50 is up the middle. He is not battling for position. AJ Burton is a lap down car trying to get a lap back.
You see him using his fresh tires advantage, going to immediately work up the inside and overtake this group. Don't think he's going to be able to pull away, but he's just trying to keep himself ahead just in case caution comes out, which you can.
And here comes with him the 31 of Tony Shaw, that white and red car on the inside lane. Also not for position. Riley Thompson, a big run. Nowhere to go with it. So it's Cahoe in the white car at the top of your screen. He is in control of this race. It's a 0.2 of a second gap back to Aaron Ruffs in the 30. Then Riley Thompson, Stouffer, Krause, Levick, Kingsbury, Simpson, Branch, and Bryant, the rest of your top 10. And Thompson, a good run on the outside. He'll take it to second.
Yeah, Rose starting to drop back now as a few guys have gone around him.
Cahoe fighting to keep the 50 car lap down. And this is just annoying for Cahoe to have to deal with some lap cars here. This is, he'd much rather not have these cars unless they were going to stay behind him and block everyone else. But he's having to race them, and it's going to slow him down. 10 laps to go for Michigan.
Yeah, Burton really can't do much about it because he's trying to fight with Showen to keep ahead, to be the first car a lap down.
Yeah, if the caution comes out, if you're ahead of the leader, you just get to go right to the tail of the field, and you're in a great position to grab some spots at the end of the race. But if you're behind the leader, or a couple cars behind the leader, you're not in as good of a shape. And here comes a 77 to the inside for third. And Krause inside the top 5, Kingsbury right behind, and Chad Simpsons. They're lined up again.
The lineup is starting all 4 of the Spark VR cars in this group.
Kinsella right up the road, also fighting for a lead lap position. So Kinsella, Burton, and Shaw will all be fighting for effectively 18th place here once they catch that 14.
Levick to the inside of Riley Thompson. Trying to work his way on back. The next car they're going to work on is Tony Shaw on a lap down.
Yeah, Shaw chased Thompson up to the wall, and that slowed him up enough to let the 77 come through to second, so Levick to P2. Whoa!
Oh.
For the lead, the 50 and the 57 almost get together, and Cahoe's going to bail. He has to come to pit lane with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, this is what I was a little bit worried about with these guys. They came in earlier still, so now a lot of these guys that were leading at the front thought they were going to fuel. They had to make another stop, and now I think really now we're left with who's going to be fighting it out for the win.
Well, it's Riley Thompson against an entire team of Spark VR teammates. Chris Stouffer's at the back of this group, as is Branch, Bryant, Downing, and Poole, the rest of your top 10.
Yeah, Spark VR 1, 3, 4, and 5.
We were concerned earlier about where they were because they didn't make much of a presence, but boy, do they have a plan, and they are executing here. 7 laps to go. Thompson, though, still trying to spoil the party. What a win that would be to hold off a group of 4 teammates in the closing laps of a Triple Crown race to get his first victory here in the Indy Elite Series this season, and he's under attack right now. Here comes Philip Kraus to the inside, but he gets blocked in by the 50.
Yeah, and these guys, I think, are going to get a little bit annoyed. Some of the lap traffic are catching up to some guys coming off of pit road, but they're going to have to deal with. So there's going to be even more lap cars up. It's going to make this battle really interesting and really fun to watch here.
6 laps to go from Michigan. 3 minutes of racing left. In 3 minutes, we'll know who wins this race. We're also running out of time. If we get a caution, the race might be over soon, so keep that in mind as well. A couple more cars exiting pit lane. That's the 56 of Bradley Walters, who is 2 laps down. Thompson continues to lead. Levick right behind him. Kraus, Kingsbury, and Chad Simpson all behind him as well.
Here's where Levick's going to go. He's pretty much only going to be able to go to the outside as the lap car on the inside.
For the lead, here comes Levick to the outside lane. Winless in Indy Elite Series competition the last 2 seasons. We'll see if he can get it done tonight. He's got 5 laps. That's 10 miles around Michigan. Here he comes, a run to driver's right, a block from Thompson up the middle with the lap car. Here comes Levick to the lead.
And now Levick's going to get that spot. Thompson going to fall back in behind.
Now Thompson gets to utilize the draft again, but he's going to have to play rear gunner because here comes the rest of the Spark VR teammates. 4 laps to go.
You see Kraus thinking of where to go. He's going to go up high. Chad Simpson's going to try to follow him on through.
And Thompson now stuck on the bottom of the racetrack.
Oh, tight.
Slip! Slide! Kraus
Wow,
saves
they
it!
both save it.
I cannot believe that wasn't a crash. And look at Kingsbury slicing and dicing, and Levick trying to run away with a 7/10 of a second lead, trying to put this all in his mirror.
He's going to say goodbye to his teammates and try to keep the lead now because he's got a free chance of getting the lead. I imagine these 3 are going to at least try to work back to him.
3 laps to go. Levick is broken away from the rest of the field. His teammates were working together. Now they're going to work against him, trying to catch him before the race is over. Kingsbury, Simpson, and Kraus. Can they catch their teammate?
Yeah, I think they're going to try to get in formation here to try to draft them off of one another to get back up and at the very least maintain this Spark VR 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Riley Thompson is stuck behind some lap cars. Not good timing, not a good place for him to be. There are some lap down cars that have just come out of the pits with fresh tires, but for Levick, it's 2 laps to go. 4 miles and a half a second lead. Can he hang on here at Michigan?
Well, they're starting to catch back up. Kraus is just on the back, and he's going to get a really solid drafter. There he is. He's going to be there.
Kraus is coming. Winless so far this season. Battling for Rookie of the Year status. Closing on his teammate. And here comes Chad Simpson as well. 3-way Spark VR battle for the lead. A lap and a half to go. Levick. Oh, look at Stouffer tight. Kraus has to swing up to avoid him.
Yeah, but he's going to have a massive run here on Levick. Levick, though, going to get a run on Burton. Here we go. White flag in the air.
2 miles left at Michigan. The Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. The Triptacular Memories Triple Crown. Double points on the line. Levick trying to hold off his teammates to get a race win and a Triple Crown victory. But Kraus is to the bottom. Side by side at the exit of the corner. Down the back straightaway at Michigan.
Oh, he's going to have the better lane than Levick. Levick's a sitting duck on that outside lane.
2 more corners. 1 mile left. Kraus edges ahead. Levick with a run. Can he build it back and win? Here he comes to the outside. Checkered flag waves. Who's going to win it? Kraus. Levick. Photo finish at the line. Kraus gets it by a nose. What a finish.
And Spark VR is going to come across the line.
Holy cow.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
That was played perfectly.
Yeah, 10 thousandths of a second at the line, too, between Kraus and Levick.
That was about as well executed as a team strategy gets.
Yeah, again, didn't work for them last season, but it worked perfectly for them tonight.
Philip Kraus was denied victories earlier this season. He will not be denied tonight. Double points, and he will almost certainly walk out of here as the points leader, and probably with a very large margin as well. And of course, the team going to line up and probably celebrate this one together because that was a team effort. And as much as they were working together, they were very much working against each other in those closing laps as well.
I think once all 4 of them got up to the lead, I think it was a Hail Mary at that point for all 4 cars.
And just waiting for Kingsbury to get in line. Here they come. And the team celebration for Spark VR. That was spectacular. And Kraus is going to get to celebrate his first race win in Indy Elite Series competition. And it's a Triple Crown race. They all started at the tail of the field tonight, 26th to 1st. And he led 5 laps en route to his victory. Rest of the teammates still lined up on the start-finish line. Here's a look at your race results tonight. Your top 10 will scroll back through in a moment, but Chris Stouffer, AJ Burton, Chris Cahill, Tony Showen. I thought that was going to come together a lot better than it did, but they just ran themselves out of fuel.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the thing we didn't really cover because we were too busy covering the intense action that was going on the track. A lot of guys ran out of fuel towards the end of it. And again, I'm sure that Brophy, if he came in a lap earlier, I think if he didn't stretch the gas another lap, he wouldn't have to worry about coming in, running out of fuel. And I think that's what kind of caused him to panic coming into the pits, and that's what I think forced that mistake. He would have, I think, made it to the end. Obviously, the other guys came in just a little bit earlier than him. Would have been running at the end, but this is, I think, going to really hurt him in the points. Philip Kraus, especially with Philip Kraus winning the race, he's going to get a solid 100 points to his name.
Yeah, Joe Branch also with the top 10 tonight after all the chaos in the closing laps. Didn't really get a chance to mention him, so the 28 car will finish P10. That'll be a good night for him in the points. But again, Kraus, Levick, Simpson, and Kingsbury, the Spark VR team, all working flawlessly together in the closing laps to wrestle away the lead from Riley Thompson. And of course, the celebration for Kraus is going to be overshadowing slightly the loss for Levick. He was so close to getting his first win in the series, Finian, and will not get it tonight by 10 thousandths of a second.
I think that, when we saw the field get broken up there, I think him breaking away from the pack, I think that was a bit of a curse at the end. I think it was, if he was able to break away from the draft, that's one thing, but he wasn't able to, and Kraus is just able to get a really solid run, especially coming to the white flag.
We're going to talk to all the Spark VR drivers and Riley Thompson here in just a few minutes, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
My father's father had 2 brothers and a sister. His older sister, Hazel, had married a man named Jim Yunker, and he was involved in the bottling business early on, as early as 1906 in Indianapolis, and he sold flavors. He would have had grape, cream soda, blood orange, ginger ale. In 1915, he got the franchise for Coca-Cola in Indianapolis. So then we fast forward 20 years later to 1935, Jim Yunker approached my grandfather and his 2 brothers and said the franchises in Kokomo, Logansport, and Peru are available for sale, and you guys want this. Trust me, you want to get in the Coca-Cola business.
Welcome back live to Sim TV and the Coca-Cola of Kokomo Elite Series. Here now with 5th place finisher Riley Thompson. Riley, in the closing laps, it looked like you had a chance to win this thing, but there was a team of Spark VR cars coming from behind, and they played an excellent strategy, and you kind of slipped backwards there towards the end. But just walk us through trying to hold off that charge of teammates at the end.
Yeah, at that point, I was so focused on being up front, I didn't even realize it was all of them. I was just kind of trying to realize, okay, this guy's going to make it, this guy isn't going to. And the whole time, I was really just trying to use AJ on the bottom to just try and keep them out from under me. And just, if they got a run, just kind of try and pinch them to where they'd lift because of all tires.
Throughout the night, it seemed like tires were dropping off a little bit. Walk us through, over the course of a run, did you have to adjust your car or adjust your driving a little bit, especially if you're on the bottom of the racetrack trying to make a pass?
Yeah, the first run, it would start getting loose, especially towards the bottom of the corners. So that would be about after 10 laps. So started to realize had to play with it early to kind of save for the end. But after that, it was really just trying to save the right rear from dropping off too much.
Assess your season so far. We're about 6 races in, halfway through. There's a whole bunch of road courses coming up. Are those your bread and butter? Do you think that the second half of the season will be better or more of the same?
Hopefully, they'll be a little bit better. Had a couple more DNFs than I wanted, but these double point races, I've been able to get some decent results out of, and I think that's really been holding me up this season so far.
All right, Riley Thompson, top 5 tonight, the number 58. Riley, thanks for chatting. We'll see you next week. We're going to move on now to the Spark VR team, and there is a whole bunch of them. We're going to talk to them all at once. Philip Kraus, Frank Levick, Chad Simpson, Ray Kingsbury, the whole category of all the Spark VR team. Guys, that was a strategy that was so well executed. It seemed like from the very beginning, starting with Ray, it seemed like from the very beginning the choice not to qualify. Was that all in the plan and in the cards tonight to work your way forward towards the end?
I couldn't qualify, so I didn't really have a choice.
Ray had an EOL.
Okay, so that explains that one. So throughout the race, though, it seemed like we didn't really talk about Spark VR a whole lot. It seemed like Chad was up towards the front, but the strategy towards the end, you guys all started charging forward together. How much communication was there, and how much was that planned, and how much were you trying to chase Frank at the end, and how much were you trying to work together? A lot of questions in there.
Well, the fuel strategy, we knew at lap, what was it, 60? 30? Somewhere around there.
Like
we can
10 laps after the last caution.
Yeah, so that's why you didn't see us, because we were sitting there saving fuel the entire race. But then once we hit the green light on the numbers, we charged to the front.
Well, except Chad, he wasn't
Except for
saving
me.
fuel.
I was definitely the worst off on fuel and managed to pull 34 laps on the second to last stint, which got me in.
So compare this race to last season, because it seemed like last season you guys were working together all for basically the entire race, and this year it seemed like it was just towards the end. How much of last season's race did you take into account when you came in here tonight? Was there a conscious plan to not work together the entire race and to just save fuel, or was there something else that was going on?
I'd say we were just more spread apart, and we were communicating quite a bit, in chat, just figuring out what our strategy was. And, for the final stint, that's when it all came together. We could just, put the throttle down and get the group together and work together to finish the way we did.
And Frank, towards the end there, I know you got about a half a second to a 7/10 of a second lead. Did you think that was game over? And how much were you looking in the mirror those closing laps, just hoping and praying your teammates wouldn't get back to you?
Oh, well, I knew they were catching me. There was no doubt about that. It was just a matter of when and if I could actually hold them off at the end or not.
And of course, Philip, walk me through that last corner. You've been denied victory so many times this season. You've been so close, yet so consistent, and you finally get it by 10,000ths of a second. How satisfying is it to get a win of this magnitude this late in the season?
Oh, unexpected, to be honest. I thought more people were going to try to fuel save, but once that cycle of pit stops happened around lap 90, we realized almost nobody was trying to fuel save outside of 2 other people, so it's like, well, crap, we might have a chance at this even though we were butt slow in quali. like we were cooking.
Also, when we come out of tonight, the lead in the points for Philip Kraus. Philip, it's going to be an 86-point lead leaving this race and heading into the rest of the season. How big of a gap is that for you, and do you think you can hang on to that for the rest of the season?
That's definitely a nice buffer to have. I'm hoping I can hang on to it for the rest of the season, but some of these tracks I've never driven in my life, so we'll have to see how it goes, really, because Power Slide, all them guys, they're all really quick.
Any last thoughts, guys? That was an excellent team effort, 1 through 4 for the Spark VR team. Anything else from you guys before we head off?
I just want to say, Spark VR back out in Vernon, and thanks for your support.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for chatting, and congratulations to your entire team. We look forward to seeing you in the next round.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Have a good one.
You too. So that's going to do it for the interviews here tonight. We'll look through our race results one last time before we head off for the evening, Finian. But what a race. There was a lot of green flag running, only 2 yellows towards the beginning of the race, but some disappointments tonight for guys like Shawan, Cahoe, Wood that didn't quite play the strategy right. But for the Spark VR team, as we've mentioned and as we've gone over, this was a huge momentum boost to a team that really seemed like the majority of the team didn't really have their stuff together. They come into the night and look like they've been doing this all season.
Yeah, it really is. And they tried this a few different times on a few different occasions with mixed success. And they had a few, especially with the Kingsbury brothers, they were kind of leading the team. Levick also had some decent finishes here and there, but this season they're looking like they're on another page, and especially with Kraus now taking a commanding lead of the points, 86 points clear of Bennett. Interested in seeing how the rest of the season unfolds.
That's going to do it for us tonight. The next time you're going to see us will be tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. It'll be the 3-wide National Series from Daytona on Monday night. Then Tuesday we're off. Wednesday we'll be back with GT4 and TCR action from Mid-Ohio with the Washington, D.C. region SCCA. They will be off Thursday, Friday, and back Saturday with the Outsider Racing League continuing their championship. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you the next round here in a few weeks.